What's up, everybody? It's your boy D. Welcome back to another episode of The Triangle.
And it's your girl CJ.
And it's Brandi introducing my future ex-husband.
Wow. I don't know if I could be happy for her.
Doing the most.
Wow, Brandi is always doing the most.
No, I'm being optimistic. If the divorce rate is already
that
50 to 60%, of course we're going to get married just to spite the fuck out of CJ.
Wow.
But we may not make it because he's light skinned.
Well, you guys are both alphas and it doesn't work that way.
Anyway.
It's not fan pick, but we have a special guest. It's my bro, a.k.a. digital marketing guru, a.k.a. CEO of Valynt Digital in Dallas, Texas. Yeah, he got a whole ass title, y'all.
Girl,
a.k.a. the boy heartbreaker from Kadena High School in the late 90s.
Late 90s.
Late 90s.
No, wait. I graduated in 2002.
Right. So late 90s to 2002, early 2000s, whatever. I had to deal with all them little girls running up to me talking about, can I get your phone number so I can talk to my little brother? No.
I've changed though. Like I used to be super quiet. I'm not now.
Yeah, you're not too quiet anymore. But I can't wait to market this because I'm just sending it to all the Kadena High classes and stuff. So our rating's going to go up. That's what's happening. No, so Dan's here today so we can talk about financial stuff and business things. Business, numbers. Because it's tax season. And also we have a crazy situation going on throughout the US, throughout the globe, actually, with this pandemic, with the COVID-19 and stuff. And people are skewering around trying to find money because everybody's like losing it, you know? People are, they're shutting down everything. So some people are out of work, like hardcore. Now, I shouldn't even say some. I feel like it's a lot of people who are not in essential businesses like grocery stores, medical, all of that are open. But, you know, and then some restaurants and bars, if you're in some of the states that are lucky enough to do pickup, like curbside pickup and things like that. So Dan the Man is here. That's his other name. To talk to us about maybe we'll start off with like passive income. How about we start with that?
Yeah.
Actually, no, I lied.
I
lied. How about some origin story? Take like 2 minutes to tell us like how you built your business and where you at, where you from. I mean, we know you from Okie, but go ahead.
Yeah. So real talk. So I always tell this to my sister, like, you know, I'm no smarter than anybody else. And like what I have now, right? Like, which is probably like my seventh or eighth business that I started that is successful now. You know, every other business that I started failed. Like, you know, there was Energy Express, there was music films, there was, you know, online selling. So like within the last like 13 years, I've started 7 businesses, and let's say out of the 7, 6 failed.
Right.
And you know, throughout the process, you know, because my sister remembers, like, you know, like I tried all these different.
It was some interesting stuff.
Yeah. I put in tens and thousands of dollars into these businesses. It failed, but everything was a learning experience for me, right? But to make my tenure really super short, this business is the first business that I started that wasn't about me, and it was about, you know, my family. It was about the people that worked for me, and you know, like legit, like for real, like I started it saying like if I don't make a lot of money, I'm okay with it. But every other business I started that, you know, it was all about me, you know. So like throughout the process, I learned that, you know, the reason I'm where I'm at, you know, with this one is because the reason I'm driven to it is not a selfish reason. So throughout the last, let's say 10 years, online businesses that didn't work out. The one that's working now is, you know, I run a digital agency, and because throughout the decade, like I was running digital campaigns for myself, and I learned a lot throughout the process because you can't go to school to learn digital marketing, right? And it's hard. And even if you go into digital or marketing, I'm finding that people that come out of school doesn't know shit about digital, you know, like nothing. Like people with masters are coming to me and interviewing, and I'm like, well, we did that shit like 3 years ago, you know, and it doesn't apply now. Right. But right now, just kind of talk about what I do. And I was telling, you know, I was saying that, you know, we just signed Oya, which is in the hospitality business. We work with like law firms. We work with a lot of healthcare, and fortunately, and I told my sisters before, like, I don't work with any service industry just because of the margins. I didn't like the margins that they have, but you know, I do social ads, video production, and I used to do this in high school. I don't know if you guys remember.
I was just gonna mention. I don't know if y'all remember Mr. Zagorski's little TV production class in Kadena. That's where he was
I used to do
at.
morning announcements. I was the director of morning announcements when I was a senior.
Yeah, and didn't you do something with the Kadena radio station too? Because you got to like meet Destiny's Child and shit.
I put on rap on the country station, and they got a bunch of calls because me and my best friend Jason.
Jason
for like P Diddy.
Oh my God, niggas.
Yeah, they was messy. They was playing hip hop on country, and they got so many claims. Yeah. My God.
But I've always been like digital. You know what I mean? Like I've always had this creativity inside of me, and then I played sports, and I love sports, but I found that just kind of like finding myself out and really reading hundreds of books and stuff over the last decade, like who I am, and I'm just kind of coming into my just being like I'm really understanding who the fuck I am. That's why the shyness is away and all of that stuff. But, yeah. I just love what I do. I'm here to help people. I'm here to but like this is all the stuff that I love to do.
Yeah. That's the greatest. Now I'm trying to, it's weird. He's my younger brother, but I definitely like look up to him and have mad respect when it comes to the business side. Now everything else, I'm gonna still make fun of him. Yeah, see how he is? This is how he is. Now business wise, he's my guru. I call him my personal Gary V because
that's so cute.
Yeah, right? Like he's like sent me so much stuff, info, help, all kinds of shit. I can't talk about all of it, but like he's helped me through a lot of shit, and I'm starting to like getting into it.
The better he gets, the better we are. So I personally appreciate it. Just like leveling us up.
Yeah, because we wouldn't have never been around this way if I hadn't, because part of the podcast thing was like he had gave me his microphone and his shit to start, and I've been like, I waited around for a couple of people, didn't work out. Then I was like,
shit for a minute.
Yeah, well, I sat on it because I had people who was sitting on it with me, and these two niggas right here came abroad. They came abroad like this. Like we talked about it in 2 weeks. We had a page up. We had like everything going. Like, and then we're on. This is going to be episode 48. Like,
shut up.
Yes, this.
Cool. But let me put this out there, and this isn't to toot my sister's horn, right? Because sometimes I hate her a lot, but
wow.
Right. But at the same time, I told her, and I think you remember the conversation. Like I told her, like although like I've been conquering my fears over the years, I told her one day, which was like maybe like 2-3 months ago, I was like, hey, look, like I look up to you still too, because like what I was fearful of like doing a podcast, like although like I've excelled in like my business and I do like big meetings and I go like this, right? I go as myself. Like I don't wear a suit.
Isn't that awesome? He goes to go see fucking big time millionaires looking like that.
Yeah, I mean, I closed the oil deal, and they're the second largest hospitality organization in the world. And I went like this to the meetings, right? And but I told her like, but I was still afraid to do a podcast because I was so afraid of what people would think of me and
crazy?
Like my thoughts that I put there. But then I admired my sister for going out there and doing it weeks and months before me, and I looked up to her, right? Like I do, and I still do, and I told her, and that I shared that with her because like. I still want her to know, and Caesar, I just want you to know, like, I still look up to you in a lot of areas, a lot of different areas, you know what I mean? So it's not, it goes both ways for me.
It is. It's
not to get sentimental on this.
Was that too much for Dee? Was it
Dee
too
just
disgusting?
ran away. No,
he was like,
he's probably having internet connection issues. It seems like
Dee was like,
this is too mushy. I don't need to be in any of this. No, but for real, like I will tell you with that story, it like fucking blew my mind to know that my brother was like thinking about all of those things instead of like being on camera. Because to me, I remember him being like, everybody was talking about him in school and after school, you know what I mean? Like at work or whatever. And I was like, that is so insane that you were like, I don't know, I guess like, worried about other people's opinions.
Yeah. And I got over those fears, right? Like every time I got over a fear, like that's what brought me to where I'm at today. But it's just work. Like I just put in the work, I've had a lot of failures, more than most people, and I just don't give a fuck. I'm just trying to do me. And that's what makes it work.
That's the best part. Not for real. Well, let's get into some nitty gritty because we actually had questions about this in a few months ago from some of our viewers and listeners. So people were asking a lot about passive income. Like, how do you feel about passive income? Like, is it good? Is it bad? Is it good for some people, not for these types of people? Like, do you have an opinion on that?
Yeah, I do. So, like, there's two ways to look at passive income, right? Like, if you look at passive income and say, well, I'm going to build this thing and it's going to just pay me forever, and I can build a thing in 90 days, and you're fucking crazy because that's not going to happen. Right. Like, to truly, like, you know, like, there's courses out there, like, pay $1,000 or, you know, give me $5,000 straight how to make like 10K a month. That's all bullshit, right? Because I bought those courses in my early 20s. But to build, there is a such thing as passive income, but you won't get to the passive income until you actually build a business. That's when you get a passive income, and that takes a decade. So, like, let me define the term passive income. Passive income is, like, as I build my business, it took me over a decade, right, to get here. I can call this a passive income if I can exit myself out of the picture and the company still runs, because that's passive income. But there is no such thing as, like, you set this up and then, like, it continues to pay. That is a lie that people fucking tell you. Like, or even real estate, right? That could be passive income. But what people don't understand is if you buy a house and you rent it out, there's so much work that goes into it. Like, fucking with your tenant, like, it just depends on what your definition is of passive income and how much you're trying to make.
Because I feel like when I'm going through, like, because, you know, when you sign up for entrepreneurial stuff or just business info, they send you all kinds of shit, like you said, the courses or whatever. And I feel like a lot of them are like, hey, in 120 days, I can get you to, like, a 6-figure blah, 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 7-figure blah, blah, blah.
Wait a minute. Are you telling me Herbalife is lying? Are you? Yeah. You telling me I can't do that?
Absolutely.
I can't sell the eyelashes?
No,
Here's why
unique.
Though. Like, you guys gotta understand, right? The top 5% of whatever, like, no matter what industry, the top 5% of the people make the money, right?
Right.
And what, like, and it doesn't matter when you go into the industry, whether it's new or old. The good people that are good at what the fuck they do, the top 5% will always make the money, right?
Right.
And when it comes to, like, those Herbalites are like, hey, 90 days you'll make this much. What they don't tell you is, like, you can make the 90 days. What they're saying is true. But you have to have skills in sales. You have to know how to do operations. You have to know how to do all these different things, which they don't tell you. So they sell you this dream, right? But they never tell you, well, these are also the skills that you need to do it. Because if they tell you the skills that you need to do it, nobody would buy into that course or into the you know, the shit that they're trying to sell you.
It's gotta seem easy. Like, you can sleep on it and make money.
Listen, they do the same thing with Mary Kay.
Yeah.
Well, me and Dee got suckered in one time.
Yes, we did.
It was a World Financial Group. I don't even mind saying it. I mean, so here's the thing: there are people that we know who have made it to the director position, but that's that 1% to 2% that actually dedicate their fucking entirety.
Look at the stats of people make, like, in those, you know, and it's a legit thing, but you really have to have people skills. You have to have a whole bunch of different things,
that's
right?
The biggest
but for me,
thing.
like, if I go backwards a little bit, you have to define what passive income is, because, like, for me, I would say passive income is, like, you know, $30K a month, right? Some people might say that's $300 a month or $3K, and depending on what your thought process is and your goal is, then I can give you, like, ideas or whatever on how to go about getting that, right? And like, real practical ways of getting that. Because I know we're going to get into, like, business talk about what businesses can do now, like, you know, in this, like, COVID-19 stuff. But, like, with the same thing with passive income, you have to define it. If you don't have a definition of what passive income means, nobody can help you, because everything that I do for people has to be defined to the T. Like, I need to know exactly what you want. Then I can reverse engineer from where you want to be.
That is the hardest part of all of this, is reverse engineering.
Yeah, but you see it all though. But you see it all. For me, like, I see it all because I've been through a lot of those different things, right? And it applies to different industries.
Yeah. So before we get into the small businesses and how they can start some of this stuff, if you personally were to pick, like, if you had to pick, do you have, like, a top 3, like, small passive income thing that would be a stream that some people can get into without small amount of capital?
Yeah, you can get into some of these things without any capital. So, like, let's take what I'm doing for example, right? Digital marketing. digital marketing, the barrier to entry is so low right now, right? Because everybody needs it, right? So everybody's going from traditional marketing, and especially like right now, nobody's trying to touch direct mail or anything. The opportunity is limitless. And I also know with data that only a third of businesses in the U.S. are doing digital marketing. So if you learn how to do Facebook ads, you can learn it in 60 days. Yeah, you can learn Facebook ads in 60 days.
No. You said a third of businesses are only using social?
Yeah. That's correct. Yeah, and only 10% of that is doing it efficiently to where they're seeing the ROI. That's why like we're signing up big companies, right? Because I started off.
Wait, hold on, calm down. Our audience won't know what ROI is. That is going to be return of investment.
Ooh, baby, if that ain't your brother.
Listen, y'all thought that 2 Spottsvilles on this would be a good idea. It's just me, but smaller, like younger. That's all.
Let me explain to you without defining it.
I talk a little fast too. So.
You do talk a little fast. Slow it down for my audience. Nothing against y'all listening to us. I know, but they're not like your digital people. They're like listening to it. You know.
They're the tribe.
They're the tribe. Oh, that's their name, by the way. It's the tribe.
That's a plug.
3.
Okay.
Plug.
So what were we talking about?
So we were talking about the top 3 passive incomes that you can do with low or no capital.
Yeah. So you can learn digital marketing for real. Like you can go to business.facebook.com. You should put that in there, business.facebook.com.
Oh yeah.
And they have courses on courses on how to run Facebook ads, right? So this is the truth. So when I was running Facebook ads, I started charging people like $300 a month or $500, right? And I started with churches, right? Mm-hmm. Those were my first clients. But then because I knew business and stuff like that, like I was undercharging, and I realized that, like months and months down the road. Right. So like now, we charge 20, 30K a month, right? For what we do.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, like you can start off charging one client, you can get $500 a month. And if you know how to run it and set it up, you can only spend 2 hours a month, right? On an account and get paid $500 or $1,000 a month. Like I do side things on a hustle. I get paid $1,000 a month and I spend an hour and a half on that account per month.
Isn't that crazy?
You see what I'm saying?
Y'all.
So my rate is $750 per, you know what I'm saying? Like it's legit. And but think about it. Why would somebody pay me $1,000 a month, right? To run social ads? Mm-hmm. That's because their return on investment, the $1,000 that they pay me and the money that I spend on ads, they get 20 times the return. So if they spend $5K a month with me, they're making 10 times that, $50K. Yep. So if you figure out how to do that and add value to whether it's a person or organization. So it's all about adding value, right? So digital marketing will add value to a lot of organizations. So that's the first thing. Like digital marketing.
That's a great one.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm in it.
I know.
I just know.
Yeah. And also, I remember watching a short expert. Look, they just listened to me. The Tigers are quiet today. The Tigers are quiet
First of all,
today.
I'm being respectful because my future ex-husband is giving out free game. So I'm chilling.
But no, so I guess a lot of people don't know about the facebook.business.com. So I'm definitely gonna link it in our thing, because I think I had one for my Lux styler and stuff too. It's a lot of work though to go through it, so you kind of have to comb through it.
You gotta have some sort of I don't know.
Like you gotta have some basic understanding. Like I really had to go look up a lot of terms and stuff to even get in on it. Like that's why I was like, yo, you can't just say ROI. People don't know that. Huh?
Yeah, I copied my way through school, so just so y'all know. I got
Dude, do you know this nigga did not do any homework in school?
Wait a minute, is it because he had the bitches doing homework?
Yes.
No. Wow.
Why?
Well, they're my best friends, right? And then plus, you gotta be resourceful. So as an entrepreneur, you gotta be resourceful. You gotta find what somebody wants. So what I knew is that they wanted this, so I gave that to them, and they gave me the homework. So ever since I was in middle school,
he better hustle.
What did I tell you about him being my miniature Gary Vee? Do you remember Gary Vee's origin story?
They wanted this, so I said, all right, run the homework.
Yeah, and I'm not just saying me. I'm just saying I had something that they wanted, or I connected them with whoever had what they wanted. So I was the middleman, so I got what I wanted because
y'all didn't even know his little quiet ass was hustling in high school.
As soon as you figure out what somebody wants, and you can provide that to them, they will give you whatever the fuck you want. So I've learned to ask the right questions too to people and really understand okay, well, how do I figure out what this person wants? What's important to them? You know what I'm saying? And then I fucking figure that out and I supply it to them, or I can do it myself, then great. If I can, I'll find somebody that can, and I get what I want from them.
That's some good shit.
Dee's face is everything right now.
D, you're for. Oh, there we go. I don't know what. Hey, what's another one that you would say other than like building? Like I saw somewhere that somebody was talking about calling people on the yellow pages with like, you know, that's not doing social and building them like one-page landing sites and stuff or websites.
Sure. So that so like if I expand on digital, right? So digital, when I say digital, and this is with every company I work with, for some people it means email marketing, some people it means building landing pages. So like I know how to do all that stuff because I taught myself, right?
Right.
So we can just expand on digital and say if you learn how to build landing pages, which you can learn how to do this shit in like a 20 hour. If you put in 20 hours into a course, you can learn how to build landing pages and charge people $500 per landing page, right? On Upwork, and there's Fiverr and Upwork and stuff like that. You can put yourself out there and they'll pay you.
Hey,
and it's so easy to get paid.
Can I talk about what you did with them courses and how you like kept your money in your pocket? Can I tell them? Like with the courses? Okay, sure. So Dan would like, so here's the hustle here. Like you take, let's say these courses are like $2,000, right? But you get a free, like,
which one of them I paid for back in the day. And
I know, but the rest of them, a good amount of them, you would pay like $2,000-$3,000. You take it's a free trial for, let's say, I don't know, like 3 days, 5 days or whatever. This nigga would fucking do the courses in the given time of free trial and tell them that it wasn't good enough and get his money back and then go on to the next course with the same money.
I'm not mad at it.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it either. That's what I'm saying.
This was 7 years ago,
But that was a serious hustle.
Not mad at it at all.
So if you can get a couple $1,000 together, you can keep taking these courses if you want to put your time and effort and like everything into it.
Go to udemy.com. Udemy.com. The courses that I'm talking about for Facebook, they sell it for $15. udemy.com, and they sell these courses on YouTube, Facebook, literally. The reason people aren't making like passive income like this is because they don't want to take the fucking time to do the work, right? So like I started from zero. Right. I literally put in, I've literally put in thousands of hours to learn digital because like this, like, and I started to get it. I started to fall in love with it. I started to get a passion. All this, it tied in with like video marketing and, you know, like video production, all that shit.
Right.
But aside from like digital, there's so many different ways. Like I can sit here and tell, you know, like I can tell mom, like, you know, our mom, like what she makes or she knows how to sew. You can make money off of anything that you do. Like now,
I got a business for her, by the way. Don't let me forget.
Yeah, there's you can make money off anything. So like Brandi, if you're good at fucking, you know, fucking telling jokes, or fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like if you're sexy and you know, like you fucking like make some funny shit on YouTube, you can get paid off it, you know what I'm saying?
But no, please tell her, because I've been trying to tell her. Look, I've been Chris Jenner her.
CJ, this is what we won't do. We will not come at me and embarrass me in front of my man. We finna let him talk to me and speak life into me. And you finna shut the fuck up.
See how they treat me? No, for real though. I've been telling Brandi, I said, you are mighty agreeably attractive. We're gonna go ahead and put you on the up front and the up and up. And we're gonna go ahead and like, you know.
Listen, because I ain't gonna lie. I used to not so much judge girls like that, but be also one of those women that's like, can't you use something else and blah, blah, blah.
What?
Baby, as soon as the bitch lost weight, I was like, I'm one of these bitches now. And I will take these pictures. I'm gonna put it, especially with my costumes and other things that I'm interested in. It's like Dan said, it's like, I have something you want. Y'all like how I look. You like having me around.
Start a Snapchat. Start that like paid Snapchat shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, right?
You know what I came on here for? I said I was gonna do one of those fans only.
Oh yeah, fucking Patreon and shit.
Them motherfuckers be making bank. It's
hey,
like
they do.
Do you know you can even do just feet, you guys?
You can't, D, you can sit on cakes all day long.
D,
son.
cake, booty cakes. Booty cakes.
Boo cakes.
Booty cakes.
No, for real though. So you do booty cakes. You do your cosplay thing. I'm gonna do feet or something. I'll figure it out.
Listen, I had even thought about opening, like, if you open imagine, if you will, picture it, a strip club. However, the women are dressed as Bulma or Wonder Woman or whatever. Do you know how many people would pay for that shit?
I'll show up.
Listen, someone that says Dan's like, I got it.
Yeah, said Bulma.
It would work. It would be a fantasy on 10.
I mean,
that's money.
Oh, anime strip club, right? Yeah, that's like
and you can do boys and girls with that. Boys and girls.
That's what I'm saying. Like those kind of things. Like I'm being serious. Like that somebody would want, right? Like if you want that and if you have that idea, like somebody out there is thinking the same thing. And like if it was available, like I would go and just check it out at least once. And if I had a good time, I'd go back.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Well, shit, we got Demetrius in Vegas and it's legal there. So we're going to have to hop to it. We're going to have to, I don't know what happened to
Demetrius. Is definitely the plug. He be going out every time we need his ass.
You can start pimping them fucking Comic-Con hoes out. You know what I'm talking about? Like those Comic-Con hoes. Like you start pimping them motherfuckers out.
I love that he calls them Comic-Con hoes. No, wait, because I've heard other people say that shit.
Yeah, it's a thing.
They'd be like, you out here with them Comic-Con hoes? Hold up. I am not one of them.
Yeah.
I do know them.
I mean, I do know them. I do know them. Oh my God, I can't with y'all. No, so okay, so here's a really good question that came through earlier. Like with the marketing for small, tiny businesses such as myself, especially who are really low on capital, what would you like suggest for them to like start off with like marketing? Do you think Facebook and Instagram is the best place to start, or is there other things that they can do? Because I know you can control the monetary value on those two platforms. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
most of the time, like who are you talking about? So like it depends on who.
I mean, if you had to pick a market, I guess somebody who's selling any kind of product, really. Like, you know,
I'll do products. I'll do products because we have a CBD client.
Okay. There we go.
CBD, and then I'll do service industry because they're hurting. So if you're in the service industry, right?
Right.
You know, most people are still doing flyers. They're doing, you know, radio ads or whatever, right? They're not doing digital. If you're in the service industry and you have a bar or a restaurant right now, the best thing to do is what's called geo-targeting. And you can run an ad within a 2-mile radius, 3-mile radius of your restaurant, and say, hey, like we're doing takeout orders, right? Because that's what everybody's doing. Post your menu on there. And then you can target people not only within a 3 to 5 mile radius of your location, but then also people that eat your type of food. So like if I have a Japanese restaurant and it's in Vegas, and let's say it's like a little bit on the outskirts, then I would target 5 to 7 miles, and then target people that eat sushi. Like, so with digital, you can target whoever the fuck you want. You can target people based on age, income, gender, how much they make, the kind of car that they drive, if they work out a few times a week, the type of food that they eat. So like you can take all this data and I can find the audience, and you run that every day, you're just going to get order after order, right? And then they can directly order. We can set it up. We can automate things to where they click on something and they can go to the order form, order, it goes directly to the restaurant. Like, so I know how to tie all that stuff on the back end, right? But that's one, it's called geo-targeting. So you target based on your location, and you pick the people that you want to target, and you can exclude people. If you don't want to, if you know, like people that eat, let's say, I'm just being like stereotypical, if they eat Mexican food and they don't like sushi, then you exclude those people from your, within your range, right? So that's one thing that you can do as a bar / restaurant, right? You can do stuff like that. It's called geo-targeting. If you're e-commerce like CBD, like we're running 2 different type of campaigns. One to drive traffic to their store, by like coupons and shit like that, and we've already had success with that. They've seen an uptick of like 30-some% in foot traffic into their stores in San Angelo, Texas, and they're about to launch their e-commerce site. But it's all about, so like marketing is about, so like I understand people, and with digital, a lot of times, you know, we see ads, like when we come in contact with ads, what does it tell us? Like it always says buy. And you don't even know who this brand is, right? But they're saying, hey, buy this, buy that. So like our approach is like we call it relationship building. So we start with building the relationship. We run campaigns to let people know who we're targeting, who our clients are, who the business is first, what their values are, what they're about, why you should consider understanding who they are. And then once they watch a couple of the videos, then we start to run second campaigns on driving them to the website, then the third campaign to get leads or to sell the product. So like we don't sell the product on the front end. We sell it after we go through phase 1, phase 2, after this person knows who this brand is, what they're about. And if they follow through this process that I create, like you know, on the internet, right, that you can't see, then on the third round, then we're selling. That's why it works.
See,
but
so
everybody else is trying to sell right here. Everybody else is trying to sell here.
Basically, like if you don't have at least basic knowledge of what the hell you're doing, if you have a business.
It's not even that. It's like if you come across my ad for a client and you see the first ad for the first time for XYZ company and it says, hey, buy my product, that's like me going up to a girl and say, "Hey, sleep with me" on the first night, right?
I mean,
no, Brandi, no, Brandi, no.
Right.
He said, "A girl." He ain't
yes.
talking about me.
So 1% or 2% will say yes to that, right? But then what about the other 90%? So what we do is like we don't ask the customer to sleep with us the first time they see our campaign.
Right.
It's like, it's nice to meet you. This is who we are. Right.
Do you
so
think
it's
that's
really
the
relationship
issue
building
for
online.
most people is because they are like starting off with
They're
the bye.
short-term games.
Mm-hmm.
It's short-term
Yeah,
games.
I think they whip their dick out too soon.
Yeah,
it's like playing checkers versus chess. Like we're always playing chess with our clients, and that's how we move them. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't play checkers. Like that's like we don't do the instant gratification, because when you do, you lose. Long term, you lose when you do that. I
think that's what it is with a lot of businesses. I'm
just enjoying this analogy. Like, when can I bust it wide open for the business?
Nah. You know what?
Business. We're talking about the business.
We can always count on Brandi to
I got him out? Did he fall out?
Dan just fall out of the chair. Oh my God.
I think I'm pregnant. All this
oh my. So no, for real though, like, so I think this, like, if you're listening to this episode, this might be one you like really save if you're into like starting businesses or have one or are thinking of having one. Like, you can rewind it and get all the info from Dan the Man, the guru of digital marketing.
Listen, free game.
Free.
You can put my email on there.
I will. Do you want your Valynt one on there? I'm gonna put Dan's website and his social handle and his work email, and so I'm gonna do all of that. Let me write it down because I don't want to.
You do the work email because I got access to that one. I'm gonna be checking you out.
First of all,
it better be about business. I'm not playing.
Wait a minute.
That geo marketing is very.
I'm walking away for a second, but like, I don't know. I feel like we didn't go through like exactly like, you know, I don't feel like it's helpful.
I don't know where you went.
Unless we go through the details. I just want to go grab a napkin real quick.
Oh, okay. He's like me. But no, you said the
geo marketing is very interesting because they've been trying to, Facebook has been trying to sell me this jacket. And on the back of the jacket, it says, I may be from Nevada, but my story began in Japan. And I was like, how the fuck do they know that shit?
They don't play with that.
When I was working at Torrid, I would get things that are like, I'm the best store manager ever and shit like that. Or you can take the girl out of Oki, but you can't take the Oki out of the girl.
They're so smart when they do that because they get your emotions.
No, I was just going to tell Dan to explain it because yesterday I was on the phone with Helen. And she said on the phone, I think I'm going to get into like herbology. And I was like, that's cool. I was looking into it too. That was the conversation. And the next morning on Instagram, herbology books all over.
Yeah. So here's the crazy part. So like, you know, because I've been doing digital and like we have access to different things. So like,
tell them so people don't get scared.
I can tell with one email address, I can tell where somebody lives, their income, the car, their interest, and all that. But the other thing is, like, if you search for something, right, like there are things called pixels, and we place those on our client's website and landing pages. If you come to my client's website, right, and you look at a certain page, I can tell you what product you looked at, how long you looked at it, and I can track you for the next 99 years. And no matter what site you go to, I can put that ad in front of you.
That's crazy.
That's why you see those ads. So like if you go to like Dillard's or Macy's and you look at, let's say, a black, like if I go to Vans and I look at their black Vans shoes, that'll forever follow me for the next few weeks.
That's insane.
You know what I mean? So like we have the same ability to do that, and it's looking at consumer behavior on the back end. So like I analyze a lot of data, and based on that data, I make a lot of assumptions, and I use what's called, you know, they I didn't know this, they teach this in Stanford and Harvard. It's called linear regression. So I use the linear regression
I'm gonna
model.
read it.
Yeah, to start with these variations, and I figure out exactly I change the variables out on the ads, like in this cloud, right? This cloud that people talk about. And I know what variables to change, and eventually I'll get you to buy it. But at some point, if you don't buy, it's like the AI. If you don't do these actions, at some point, I just get you off of the funnel, and then you never see the ad again.
Who was the guy who wrote the book that you were reading on linear regression? Do you remember?
I couldn't tell you off the top.
If you text me, I'll put it in the link with all the other stuff on our YouTube and our podcast stuff. But
Pushpin really quick. Dee,
what's up?
Do you find it fascinating to basically see two CJs?
It's tripping me the fuck out.
It's really tripping me out. That's why we're so quiet. Because we're just watching. Like,
so for once, I have my other person.
It's so
really
weird.
It's weird, see, because I've never really been in a situation where I've seen both of you guys interact
in the same time.
It's like, what the fuck is going on?
It's really a mind fuck.
Yeah, it's a mind fuck.
Oh my god, what type of Chris Angel Warlock shit is this?
No. So no, it's because I think it's because of the way we were raised, to be honest, and we're very logical about a bunch of shit.
About a lot of shit, yeah.
Listen,
I don't know if you noticed or anything.
Listen,
I'm just a little bit logical. There's that high pitched fucking sound that we were talking about, Dee. I don't know if you saw that episode, Brandi. We were like, it's so quiet in here because Brandi's not here today.
Mm-hmm.
No, what's funny is I didn't watch that episode because I wasn't in it.
Oh shit!
So there's not a reason.
That's how it is. Oh my god!
That's how it will be.
Please make sure to edit those videos so we can just pop up and pop off. For real.
Can I ask y'all a favor? So like after this, because I'm recording it on my screen too. So after this, I'd like to do like a 15-minute with y'all.
Okay, we can
just
do
talk
that.
about just talk about COVID-19 and just kind of and talk about whatever.
Oh,
I really thought he meant something else.
We can do that.
No.
That's
I don't know what that is, but
as a matter of fact, this is a great time to take a break, y'all. Let's wrap it up and do a quick ad and commercial, and we'll be right
back.
Right black.
I'm
gonna walk away, but I'm on it.
And we're back, bitches.
This never gets old.
So terrible. So Demetrius took it upon himself to grab his Kadena High shirt. Let's look at it. I
already had it on. I just had a jacket on.
Oh, I didn't see it earlier. Yeah, Kadena. Oh, class of 2004. You guys are.
FOMO better.
FOMO better.
Remember
that?
Definitely
Dan was 02, right, Dan? 02?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was 2000.
Was that 02 for you? Did y'all have a chant?
Yeah, do you guys have a jingle? I can't remember.
A jingle?
A jingle?
Yeah.
Nah, they were lame.
Did they come out with bling bling tassel just for us? Because I remember that being a thing.
What?
And I hated it. Oh my god, a bling bling tassel. Y'all ain't never heard of that shit?
No.
Oh my god.
Wait, you said 04, right?
Yeah.
04.
Did y'all graduate with Jennifer Matthews?
Why is that so fucking familiar?
Yeah. That sounds really familiar.
Green and white.
Yeah. I think she graduated before me, like a year before.
Yeah, she was like volleyball, and then she played. And the reason I'm bringing it up because her marriage got canceled because of Corona.
Oh, that sucks.
Oh, that sucks.
What?
That sucks.
Yeah.
Girl, they not playing out here.
That's the second person I've heard.
Because we're supposed to be getting our marriage done, our wedding done in June too, so we have to like look around now and see what's up. Like I'm still going to the food tasting this week on Thursday.
I love you so much.
And we have cake tasting on cake tasting on Sunday. Where actually the cake tasting place is making us do it via like Zoom or Skype. And we're just picking up the box of cake so we can taste it in front of them and tell them what we want. It's like,
oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, so people are just like getting away from it. So okay, so like I want to know something about Dan's Kadena years because everybody thought he was fucking quiet and all this other stuff, right? Did you realize all these fucking girls was trying to get your number from me and all of this other shit?
My answer is no.
You did?
My answer is no.
No,
I feel like you're lying because he said my answer is no.
No, I'm serious. Like I was literally, I know self-awareness, and then I was just like consumed with basketball. So like
I'm really consumed with basketball.
Yeah, if I did, then I'd be a different man right now. You know what I'm saying?
Not a different
you feel what
man.
I'm saying?
But I do remember. I remember this particular girl.
D.
I think she was like mixed Korean and white that like just had moved to Kadena. And
that was Jennifer. That was the one that.
Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah.
Oh shit! Because everybody was talking
a little bit.
Yeah, everybody was talking about her, and Dan came home one day. He was like, "I got her."
Yes.
Nice.
You don't remember?
That impression was everything. I didn't know I needed.
But then, like, I cheated on her because I kissed somebody else. Like, when
because you an asshole.
Niggas, I swear to God.
Yeah. Listen,
it
was a drink though.
It's the Spottsville
No, we're not
curse.
blaming it on that. It's called being light skinned, and then it's
not
called
the
being
drink.
a man.
Oh my God, not the drink though.
Yeah, so Okay, so like, tell me about y'all. Like, what were y'all doing out there?
What were we doing? We were dancing our asses off.
Listen, I didn't even know CJ had a brother. We were just like consumed with the dance. I didn't. When you were talking about you had a brother, I'm like, bitch, you lying? Like, no. Now she got a brother.
What's she
fucking liar? Because CJ is a liar.
I'm not a. Hey, I do remember this stuff.
Varsity basketball?
Huh? What?
I was already playing varsity basketball by the time you guys were at Kadena.
Right. Yeah. And no. Weren't you captain too?
Yeah, I was captain my senior year.
Yeah. See, he was
I
already.
didn't put two and two together until like mid high school. Like
yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't until after high school, and I was like, oh, she's not.
You know what was crazy?
Brother.
I still remember going to one of our dance meetings. And we were like going around introducing ourselves. And, you know, I'm like, hey, I'm CJ Spottsville. I said Spottsville. And like 6 of the girls' faces fucking lit the fuck up. And like two of them came to me afterwards and was like, hey, can you have your home phone
Not
number?
the little voice.
Yeah, because they fucking little as fuck.
Like, I appreciate y'all saying that, but like, I'm being for real. Like, I didn't
he didn't notice. That's so crazy to me.
Yeah, I was just playing basketball and I was just doing me.
He really was playing basketball because when he got in trouble and got grounded, my dad would not ground us from like fucking TV or food or shit like that. He would ground him from the gym. From the gym and
you were grounded from the gym too, huh?
Yeah, we were all grounded from the gym. Because we were grounded from dancing and going to the gym. Dan was grounded from playing basketball. Like, he couldn't even dribble the ball in the house. I still remember that shit. My dad was like,
parenting done right. You got to take away what the kid loves. So that's parenting done
terrible
right.
Shit.
Not terrible shit. Can't do terrible stuff.
But we were doing shit but dancing, so...
I mean, you know, but it was good time.
No, y'all was drinking and getting high and doing the most. I was not.
You were up in a tree hiding from somebody playing that night.
Did you
I
say
remember I walked by
a tree?
Your ass was in a fucking tree. I was like,
oh yeah, you're right. You're right. I can explain because that sounds so weird to someone that doesn't have context.
Is this the hide and seek situation?
Yes.
Okay.
I was still playing Manhunt until probably about like, you know what? This goes back to what Dee said. I was playing Manhunt till I was about 16. It wasn't no hide and go get it shit. I was on some real tag ass shit because I was like a tomboy for a long time, and then the glow up happened. Not a very long time. Not adding that in.
A very long time.
A very long time. And then the glow up happened, and I was like,
and then Brandi found out she had a vagina. I don't know.
No.
She's like, I have one of those?
That's the story of my people.
Look at Dan.
Wait a minute. I have a pussy? What?
So fucking terrible.
That's about it. So I hate you, Dee, for that. That's so funny.
I mean, you know, but you know what though? Like, you know how crazy it is? I know we've mentioned this before, but like all the shit that we used to do in Okie and how we lived through all of this shit. I don't know if Dan wants to share any of his stories. If he's cool with sharing one of my favorite stories about your finger being cut off halfway.
What?
You feel like talking
what? You don't start that off and not finish it. No.
Yeah, like what? Okay, so like this.
So you see how it's deformed still?
Oh shit! Yeah.
Okay. So, this nigga. Yeah, do you want to tell the story?
Yeah. So like I was hustling, you know, the hustler that I am today. So like I was like, I need some money, you know. Junior, and me and Bleak, you know, we were like, we need some
no
money.
names.
Like 3:30, 4 in the morning. We went to like the Home Depot of Okie, right, which is called Make 'em On.
Make 'em On.
Make 'em On. With the monkey.
Yeah. So like we broke in there, and then.
Listen. Like, wait, stop. He said, did you hear him? He broke in there.
He definitely said broke
in. Yeah, and I got a lot of radar detectors, you know, because like radar detectors were like popular, right, in high school. Like, you know, the people that were racing. So I got a bunch of those. But then we went to another one, like we were like, well, let's get this shit on the side. So like I took a hammer and like I broke the glass. So my hand went through with the glass and I pulled it back and like my whole finger was like to fall off. So at the time, like our half brother was staying at our house. So like I wasn't even crying because I was in shock, right? And I was a little tipsy on gin and juice, right? So I was tipsy. I was like, oh shit. I was like, drive me home, right? Like I'm panicking. Like I'm more scared about me getting in trouble than my finger falling off, right? Because you know I'm tipsy. So I'm not crying. I get
and
home.
Also, he had snuck out of the house, so.
Yeah, my brother's in my room. So like he wakes up. He's like, what happened? I was like, yo, my finger's gonna fall off. He was like, I'll take you to the hospital. And then I used his ID because I was young. So like I got to the Japanese hospital and they were like, you know, they were like, well, who are you? So I used his ID. They knew I wasn't him, but you know, they still treated me and stuff. Like they put my finger in the water, washed it. I was like, oh shit, you know. They didn't like, and then they gave me the shot. Then like after they washed it, like you should give me the shot before you wash it, right? But they gave me the shot after they washed it. And I'm like sitting there, and they're like trying to talk to me, like, "Hey, what high school did you go to?" And in Japan, I was like, you know, I went to exxxtra school, and I was making all this shit up, you know, like being like, I'm like 26, I'm 16. My paperwork says like I'm like 26 or fucking almost 30, right? But they knew, like, but they stitched it all up, and you know, the next morning I wake up with this big ass shit, and I tell my dad like I was playing with the butter knife, right? Because I had a butter knife, so he took that shit up. He believed the story because my sister remembers. Like, I told my dad like I was playing with the butter knife, but like I broke into the place, got a lot of radar detectors, sold that shit in TV production class with Mr. Z for like $200, $150 a pop, right? Like to all these motherfucking like skater boys
That's amazing.
Skater boys that had these cars, right? But I almost lost my fingers.
Listen,
but you gained the hustle. Yeah, he gained more hustle.
No,
so you might gotta lose some limbs in the process, but we getting this shit done.
But we getting this money.
Getting this money.
Listen, I mean, if we want to talk about a misspent youth, I guess that has jumped into like hustling. This man right here is it, because he did so much. Like
wait, like I'll go. I used to get spark plugs.
I'll go.
Okay.
Yeah.
The spark plugs, right? You put on a wrench and then you hit the glass because it shatters without sound, right? So like we broke into like 6 cars in a row. It just drops without no sound. So we would steal systems and all this shit. And then TV production was a class I pulled in. Like,
behind the
I had
USO?
all the niggas like, huh?
Behind the USO?
No. This was the carnival at Foster. So like they had a carnival at Foster in the summer.
I was like,
so like
you're
I
bad
took a spark plug with my boy.
I've seen your work.
Yeah. Broke into 6 cars. But wait, there's more. It's like
there's
more. It's like commercial. More. Like my sister had to pull me back from like because I parked my car like somewhere off base out of gate 2.
Man, I was just getting to that.
The fine was $200. But then that day I had broken into the gym locker and me and my boy ran into $1,600 cash that day. $1,600.
So he gets this money.
Yeah, he must have got paid that day, right? Because it was like a weekend, like a Friday,
Terrible.
Right? We took the cash. We fucking partied. We got drunk as fuck. We bought like fucking bunch of fucking clothes from Gate 2 Street. And then I left my car there. And then the next day, I'm like, oh shit, where's my car? And then I'm like, hey sis, like I need to go get my car. And you have to be 18 to get it out of the pound. She was 18. I was like, hey, I got the money. She was like, where do you get this money? I was like, I don't know.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it, sweetheart.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened after that is I had to take my ass to the Urasoy police station. Not Urasoy, Ginowan police station out Gate 2 Street and put my fucking ID up, put my driver's license up, and get his fucking car out of the impound. But here's the thing though, this is the best part. My dad's first shirt found out anyway because the last name's Spottsville. And then my dad had to ask me about it. I was like, well, you know that's not my car. So, you know what my favorite one is? Let me tell you about my favorite one. I'm hearing. My favorite fucking one of this nigga and his friends, his beat friends, is, y'all know I was a supervisor at the BX, right? On Kadena.
Well, you were born as supervisor.
Yes, and these niggas, because you know they had those team baggers at the commissary, right?
I had a snitch on the squad. I learned at an early age not to have fucking weak ass motherfuckers on your team.
They snitched on everybody. They be listen, these niggas would take product from the commissary.
And of course he's white. You know what I'm saying? Of course, like, I'm not being racist. But
I can't.
Come on now. Motherfucker, who else is snitching? This ain't fucking Takashi 69 shit. Like,
not Takashi 69. No, for real. No, let me finish. So
he clearly been drinking.
This nigga and his friends was working at the commissary as baggers, right? Remember the commissary squad and shit?
Oh, you talk about that whole bagger shutdown.
Yeah, so what happened is this nigga was a part of it. They was a part of it. So what happened is, listen, I'm a fucking supervisor at the fucking BX. These niggas go to the commissary to work, but they steal product out of the commissary and they go fucking return it at the BX.
Rogaine. We were stealing Rogaine.
They were stealing Rogaine.
They're $40 a box. $40, $50 a box. Rogaine.
Yeah, do that math. Do that math, Dan. Yeah. Bro, do that math, Dan. Run that shit. represent. Gotta represent.
I'm so through. No, for real though. So they were doing that shit, and what comes across my fucking emails? My brother's last name of all the band people, and I go home, and my dad is like fucking furious. So his ass got lucky because my dad knew everybody on the goddamn island. So what you get, like 3 months?
Our basketball teammates, the dad of the basketball teammate was like head of like AP. So like we got off, like, you know.
I mean.
Yeah.
And that goes into a bigger problem in the structure of America and how people can
all you gotta know is
all these sports people just get away with
all you gotta know
just don't fuck with the snitches.
You just can't fuck with snitches, and you need to know people, because when my dad had to leave Okie and I wanted to stay behind, because you know when you're dependent you can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I had hit up Chris L's dad. I went over to their house because he was in charge of the AFES shit. And I was like, hey, I need a GSID. Like, I need to help my mom, so I need to stay here. And he, like, put my name through, and I got a GSID, like, 2 weeks later. So I could, and then
you had your own social status.
I was my own social status.
just by yourself.
It only works because that was back in the day, y'all. I don't think you could do shit like this now. But so I got my own social status, got a GS fucking level, got one of those military up and down IDs with the color fucking picture on it and shit, right?
Oh,
and
you got the white one?
With that though, nigga, with that, you get like 4,000 or 5,000 pounds of free shipping when you move to the States. So I took my mom's shit and my shit and moved it to Louisiana pretty much for free. Nice. Because I had social status. It's like Okie back in the day was crazy. You could do anything at all. And we talking about breaking into cars. We used to do that shit together when we were in.
I broke into that vending machine by the theater.
Y'all are bad as fuck. And CJ, you're the worst.
I took it back to the vending machine because we didn't have dollars.
Yeah.
So me and like. Wait, and I can't talk about the last thing, but the bat thing, like I got like a bunch of M&Ms, peanut M&Ms. Like we just filled our fucking pockets with a bunch of fucking candy.
Hey, remember when we used to go to Otskai? If you don't know what that means, it's like when you're like older people send you to go to the store to get stuff. It's Otskai, right? My grandmother would send us to the store to get like food and shit that she needed. So the both of us would go.
You told me this story.
I did. Both of us go to this Mama-san store with like or sometimes with no money. Remember that shit, Dan? Like we'd go.
Yeah.
And they never fucking closed their register. It was like a little bit open because they wouldn't ring anything in. So I would like, hey, grandma needs
there were days I sold like a couple $100 and got like
I would be like, hey, they need fried oysters. And then Dan would be like behind me going into the register.
Y'all are bad as fuck.
Yeah, I got that Sony Walkman on cassette like skip
a bunch of goddamn criminals.
We were
skinny Walkmans, like skip free. You know what I'm saying? You got the little button like anti-skip shit on cassette players.
Yep.
Yeah.
The way he said that anti-skip shit, he was proud of that. That anti-skip shit. What y'all know about
$200+ though.
No, that's what I know. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Speaking of that, because y'all are cutting up. Before we end this session, because we were going to talk about it in general,
let's do it.
Just talking about saving money and how people can do that better no matter what they income. Yeah, just a little bit. Because people that don't have savings accounts are freaking out. Or if you do, that's probably going to be depleted real soon.
Dan has a different opinion on savings accounts because we talked about it the other day a little bit.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say this and exit out because you guys aren't gonna like what I have to say. So like me, like even when I was like making like decent money and I started to move up, like so I read a lot of different books. I listened to a lot of people, and this is the conclusion I came to. I'm not saying this is right for everybody, right? So I'm not pushing my thoughts or whatever, right? But the reason, and I haven't done this in over like close to a decade, like I don't focus on saving, and here's why. Because like if you have a savings mentality, then you're taking away from like making money, right? So like if like let's say you need to save $1,000, let's say you need to save $500 a month, right, for retirement, right? Then I can tell you like, well, instead of like saving 500, just go make 1,000, right? And focus on making money. Go make 1,000 a month, and you'll never need to save again. Is my thing. You see what I'm saying? So like what I'm saying is like
Makes sense.
I've decided never to save money, and I don't do 401ks because, like, look at the people that have 401ks, right? And I took all my money out of 401k and invested into business. So, like, if you're going to invest, you don't invest into 401ks because that's what the government wants you to do. Mm-hmm. You invest into things that give you a residual income. So, like, real estate or businesses, right? Like the thing that I'm building, right? Every month there's a paycheck, right? So, like, this is crazy. Bank of America will give you money, will lend you money, not to buy their stock. They won't give you money to buy their own stock if you're a multimillionaire, but they'll give you money to buy an apartment, a complex, right? Or real estate, right? But why though? Because they know their stock can go down and never pay you back. But then if you buy into something with the money that they give you, that makes residual income. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Why would they give you money to go buy a house, but then they don't give you money to buy their own fucking stock?
Yeah, and to speak on that 401k right now, everybody's 401k is dipping right now because Wall Street is down.
But that's because it's controlled by like
the government,
the government and whatever you can't control, right? So like that's number one. So like I don't care about savings because like if you make 20, 30K a month, you don't have to save, right? Right. So like I understand like okay, well if you start at the bottom and I started there too, I was saving, but then I realized at some point, like the money that I had, like the 5 or 10K that I had or whatever, as I grew it, I was like, well, I can use that to make more money, right? So like you should have 0 in your savings if you can't have 100K in your savings. That's my rule of thumb.
Is that
if you can't have $100,000, everything else should be. Every money that you get should be.
Do you think that's a really hard sell for most people though? Because
it is a hard sell because your mindset has to be like in order to do what I'm saying, you have to be a fucking killer, like a killer mentality to where
that's what I mean.
You ain't fucking losing, bro.
And
like, I'm out there like you don't give a fuck. Like you're trying to win.
There's nothing wrong with what he was saying, so you don't have to go nowhere. Because I like that he prefaced it with it's not for everybody. And I almost think he's underselling it, saying it's not for everybody. It's not for the majority. There's a 5% and this percent for a reason because the majority ain't gonna be about that shit. So when I'm talking about things like this, I like opinions like his, and then the other side of it is, okay, what's the majority gonna do? What could we input to the majority who's not even gonna, who feels better when they do have 500 as an emergency saving or 5,000?
Because my advice only works for people that have a killer mentality.
Right. So like what she's saying is like, I guess like, you know, most of us right now in this world is paycheck to paycheck.
Most people.
And you know what I'm saying? And so with this COVID-19 situation, there's a lot of people, not just like small businesses, but regular people who are like hurting hardcore, who don't have extra income.
But then my advice is if you're trying to get out of that situation, then my core is like you have to change your mindset, right? Because like you'll always be in that situation if you don't change your mindset. So like I'm okay, like I completely agree with you, like to where, you know, you have to have that cushion. Okay, so create the cushion, right? But then once you get to that, let's say you can pay your bills for 6 months. Let's say you have enough money to pay your bills for 6 months. Then where do you switch?
Why are you in the kitchen?
Sorry, it was PJ up in the kitchen.
Go away. I told you I didn't even want to see you out here.
You see what I'm saying?
No, I agree. I do.
Okay, so for people that doesn't have the killer mentality to where I'm okay to like lose everything, then save for 6 months worth of bills. But then once you hit that point, then use everything else to go make more money for yourself.
It is.
Because I think most people usually tend to give up once they set a goal, they reach the goal. Once they hit the goal, that's it. They're not grinding. And I think
that is pretty much it, because I think people get content with
exactly
because I have friends who are like, dude, I'm making $20 an hour, $16 an hour, like $16 an hour at this point in like life is probably not the highest you can go. You know what I'm saying? Because I have friends that are like around my age or just under me, like y'all's ages, that are like, hey, I'm making like $12 an hour, which to me is like fucking insane.
It's insane. I'm like, how are you surviving?
Right. Right. But that's what I mean. And I think I talked to Dan about it. And look, I have a list of books that Dan has sent me over, and I go through them as much as I can, as fast as I can.
Which you should read, by the way.
Which you guys, if you need the list, let me know. I have a whole bunch on my fucking Audible, and it is fucking eye-opening. I will tell you, the conversations me and Dan have has completely done a 180.
It's like talking
a lot of times.
To yourself.
Not it's like talking.
Can y'all give me 1 minute? Like I hate to leave it.
No, go ahead. We can keep talking about this. Go. Just come back.
You. The chick with the big boobs and the black little top.
Brandi,
not
Brandi.
the chick. After all I've done for him, he don't know my name. I'm done with him. I told y'all,
not the chick with the
light-skinned men cannot be trusted.
Light-skinned men cannot be trusted.
They can't. They must said the chick with the chick. I'm the chick.
Nah, not the chick.
Wow, and just like that, a bitch is sick.
I'm so done.
Brandy, I called you. Hey, Brandy, rewind the tape because I called you Brandy in the first episode.
Okay, good for you. I'm still upset. I'm still upset, so it don't matter. Anyway,
but no. I think it's very important. I know. It's really important for people to. I feel like you have to know what your commitment level is the biggest thing. I'm done. Put your boobs away, bitch.
Not squeeze them. Ew, D.
No, not like that.
How much? How much?
Oh my God! Speaking of boobs, can I just say that Rob does the D snatch now? Just the.
Oh yes, you have to. I love that.
Rob is like.
PJ actually does it very well. And then when you two-hand it, that's my favorite.
Oh my God, I can't stand it.
When you're really grabbing.
He was like, snatch it up like D. I was like, please don't. Please don't.
Does he say that when you guys are together in the bed? Snatch
snatch it up like D. Because if that happened, I'd have to like roll over and go to sleep.
Okay, CJ, it's okay if you're into it. We are not judging you.
I'm really not. I'm really not. No, what I was saying on a more serious note. I can't. It doesn't matter what we talk about. We're trying to have serious conversations.
We have been having serious conversations.
We did.
We've been listening to you in the male version.
I can still hear you guys. I'm just off camera.
That's fine. We've been listening to you in the male version of you for almost an hour.
Here's the thing. Okay, so it's because we grew up in the same household, obviously. Like, we did shit like, my mom would like have us do addition with the license plate in the cars in front of us on our way.
Wait a minute, that's why I'm smart, because the license plate? Fuck out of here, man. Don't let her sell you on this bullshit, okay?
I'm just saying, it's our origin story where we started. Like, instead of playing like regular ass games.
You said you lying, so.
No, instead of playing regular ass games, my mom would be like, what's, because the Okie place was like 2 numbers and 2 numbers, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, with the dot in the middle. And she would do like addition or subtraction with those too.
Why does it like wo or wa?
Okay, so wa.
What the fuck is that?
Wa was for all rental cars. And then the rest of the hiragana was just like our letters on our license plates. And then the Y number was for people.
I know the Y was for
all the overseas guys, like the military personnel and stuff, and people who are civvies on base. So, but no, like that's what we do. Like we'd see numbers, and my mom would be like, "What's this minus this?" And we'd like, I don't know, battle it out to see who can answer the fastest.
It's just trippy because we're so used
but I
to
beat you every time though.
Nigga, don't lie.
It's starting.
Man, so he's lying right now. He's lying He's lying.
I think it's true.
I can't wait to see y'all get into it in like real life.
Nigga, I used to do my own homework. I know you lying.
Sip of tea.
We gonna be sipping the fuck out of tea, chilling.
No, because like things that I want to learn, like I'll learn. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's all. That's the thing. Like it was,
like,
when
I
he
get
was
focused on shit that I like.
That's the thing, though. Like, I really thought when I was going to school, because I started off.
You thought I was done growing the fuck up the whole fucking
entire life? No, what I'm saying.
D, I can't.
No, nigga, listen. No, when I was.
Wait, let me come back. Like, you thought I was dumb as fuck, like, growing up the whole fucking time.
Let me come. I'm going to have to bring this shit back.
Bring it back.
Like, LeBron, dribble the ball. Like, you were thinking in your head, like, hey, Dan, just dribble the ball. Just dribble the ball, right? Like,
I didn't think you were stupid or anything. You were passing
Don't
classes.
Let her fool you.
You were passing classes.
I taught classes to like copy.
I know. So here's the thing, though. Dan, I thought
There's two ways to pass the class, right? Copy or fucking study yourself. Now, if I copy, that means I have free time to me and do what I want. Who's smarter?
I know. But
you know what I'm saying? Who's smarter? Wait, let's have this debate right now.
Oh my
Me and Brandi listening. Who's smarter? The motherfucker that actually studies and passes, or the motherfucker that gets somebody to pass it for them and then they do what the fuck they want to do?
Well, here we go. It depends on what your definition of smart is.
Right.
Hey, so my definition of smart is I'm smart. And
He said, my definition of smart is I'm smarter than CJ.
You have to edit that fucking into her fucking tidbit.
So wait, the smartest motherfucker is the motherfucker that makes the definition of smart, right? You see what I'm saying?
You're resourceful.
Brandi, I know you get it. I know you get it. See?
Ooh, she said you're resourceful. Well,
then if I'm resourceful,
I'm honestly say, like, living for this.
Wait, remember the group 1, group 2, group 3 like thing that I put?
Nigga.
If I'm the one that defines what smart is, then I win. So you always want to be in group 1. Like you want to be the motherfuckers that has the ability to affect people's lives, and then be in group 2 that actually can provide the solution for the motherfuckers in group 3, the situation that you create. So, okay.
So to me, it sounded like he called you a dumb bitch, girl. You got to get it.
He really
That's
did.
What I heard. He
called
you a dumb bitch.
I'm just going to have to rebuttal with the situation and saying
I meant to say slow bitch, not dumb bitch.
First of all,
listen, I'm not going to go.
Like, I should walk out of this.
I'm not going to go lowballing on his ass because I'm a bigger person. But I will say this. Like, listen, he is resourceful. I will give him that. But I know that my brain turns faster than him because I did all my own work. So I don't know what he's talking about.
Wait. No.
Oh, he's coming back. He's coming back.
No, I can't.
Dee, she can never talk about us.
I can sit there and say, like, my brain turns faster because, like, I found a way not to do the work and then do what the fuck I want, so my brain turns faster because, like, if anybody is...
That's a 50-50 situation.
Wait a minute,
depends on what you want to do with said knowledge.
Exactly.
Let me, just wait. Let me ask you.
Wait.
I need y'all to vote on this real quick.
This took a turn, baby.
Let me ask you this.
This is a bad idea. Don't put your siblings on your podcast.
No, wait. Let me ask you. Wait, no. Let me ask y'all. Motherfuckers this, right?
Okay. All right.
You got 2 options, right? Brandi and Dee, listen to me, right? 2 options, right? Okay. Option 1 is you do the work and you get a straight A, right? That's option 1, right? You do the work, get the straight A. Option 2, you find somebody that can do the work, get the straight A, and then you have time to do what you love to do, and fucking make more money on the side. Which one would you take?
I would take option B. Because I look at it like this. So it depends on what you want.
Wait. I didn't hear Brandi yet.
Brandi.
I thought I was going to be that chick again, so I was being quiet.
Oh, my God.
You ain't got to do the work and make the same score, and then you got time to do whatever the fuck you want.
Again, it would depend. Like, if I really wanted to prove something to myself...
No.
Then I would want to do the work myself. Like, okay, I killed this calculus class and I did it myself.
Without doing the work? What if I tell you can prove yourself without doing the work and somebody else do it? Because the score at the end of the day is what you got to get is 100. So it doesn't matter to the end result whether you get 100 by you doing it or somebody else doing it. Then what would you do?
To some people, it does matter, Dan. To you,
I think.
Then those are the mother.
No,
wait.
I'm with Brandi because
those are stupid motherfuckers I'm talking about.
Listen.
They're the dumbasses I'm talking about.
Wait, let me be real. You have wait. If you
listen, there's a different level of gratification that comes from doing the work yourself.
But then, what if I tell you there's better gratification of like, yeah, like I get the gratification of what you guys are saying, right? I do the work and then I get it.
CJ,
but then, what if I can get technical? Like, what if the work that you're doing, like it puts you through some hardship? Like, there's some shit that you don't want to learn. You don't want to read this shit today.
I'll look at it
then
like
you can get rid of all the bullshit that you don't want to do.
So this is how I look at it.
You get to get rid of all the bullshit and still get credit. Like, does that make you feel bad? Does it make you feel bad?
Dee. Go ahead. Let Dee speak.
Go ahead,
It depends on the area. It depends on the area, I guess. So somebody in my line of work, it would make sense to go Dan's route. Because it's like, okay, I can get to
don't fucking justify them because I'm not.
Wait.
We were friends.
CJ, look, my power level ain't even went up.
Somebody from my line of work, it would benefit. But say if you're a doctor, so you would actually need that knowledge. You would have to study that knowledge in order to execute your job.
You can't do it.
Well, then, okay. Well, let me put it this way: if you go the doctor, I think that's a great example. If you go the doctor route, then just know then you're limited and you're always going to be there, and then your time is limited, right? So you're never going to have unlimited time. You know what I'm saying? Because if you go that route, you're going to have a ceiling.
But some people go certain routes knowing that, and that's all they do want to do, and they're fine with that.
And I think that's fair. I think that's fair.
And there's other people.
That's the route you want to go.
There's other people in Killers and Sharks that's like Dan's that want to be out there, and it doesn't make them. It doesn't make them right or wrong.
He's like,
no. So that's all.
So this becomes a conversation of
you're more
what is your
concerning
true happiness?
because like you actually. like Brandi like actually like gives me different perspective, right? So I like that, like because like I agree with everything that she said the last 2 times, right? Like she does, she has. So like that's true, right?
Don't
because
let her
like
head get big. Don't let her head get big.
My thing is like I'm pushing my agenda, but the agenda that I'm pushing onto you guys is an agenda to where you sit at the top all the time, right? So like my agenda is like you do less of the work, you have more free time. You know what I'm saying? So like, but if you're satisfied with like what Brandi's saying, then yeah, that's fine.
So it becomes like your level of what you perceive as happiness, as well as are you built to be an executive or somebody who follows?
Happy, it's fine.
You know what I'm saying?
Like,
and I think we talk like either you're going to be like if it was in business, because you know you on the screen right now, like either you're going to be a business owner or somebody who's an executive. I think I'm more of an executive than a business owner.
That's fine. But that's okay as long as you're
right.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I just learned like I'm not the executive, right? I learned like I'm too crazy to be that executive. What's up, Heather? Hey, it's Uncle. Your
Just
uncle.
say hi and
it's TT and Uncle. How you doing?
Hey, Uncle.
Hey.
Hi, Brandi.
Hi.
Hey, Uncle. Hey, Uncle.
Hi, Dee.
Turn up, Heather.
That's my girl right there.
Tell her I said
she's doing pointy fingers. My child is doing pointy fingers. No, Uncle Dan spoils the shit out of her. So yeah, that's his niece. That's his
I'm trying to get my sister the childhood she never had and she's crying about.
Listen, I don't know if you guys follow him on Instagram. If you don't, go ahead and follow him on Instagram. It's just Dan Spottsville on Instagram.
He's killing himself right now.
Listen, he spoils the shit out of him. I'm talking like the shit out of him. Like the last one was what?
My fucking niece was a dude now. Him?
I mean, she transitioned.
Her. But like what was the last one? Last one was like they had like a beach chair with an umbrella stuck on it.
I'm thinking about the future of my niece. Okay.
Oh my God.
Or like, okay, so I told my mom that my child was outgrowing her fucking shoes a few weeks ago. So me and my family
what did Uncle get her?
Like, listen, me and my family went to Burlington. We were like, let's get her some Converse. You know, they're children. They're children.
What the fly ass
Uncle went to 6 different fucking stores and got her some fucking
fly ass glittery ass bands.
Normal Vans.
I was against it until I heard the glitter. I'm all for it.
Because I wear bands. Wait. These, hey, Brandi, we about to argue. We don't want to argue.
No, okay? You don't want to argue. We don't have the time and capacity.
No, we don't.
For us to argue.
Oh my God.
That's not what you want.
I feel like maybe we need to bring Dan on once in a while.
These bands are not for kids. You're right. Like you shouldn't pay $50 for fucking bands.
Yeah, there we go. There's that logical side of that Dan there.
No, so he was like, well, when she outgrows it, just put it on eBay. I said, okay, I will. Because she's gonna wear it for like,
though. Like
3 months. It is dope. I'm not gonna lie. It's like narwhals and it's like pink glitter and it's cute.
Okay,
I'm talking about unicorns with whales with
Dan,
fucking
it's called narwhals.
Horns.
Fucking.
They are? Okay.
Okay, can I talk about something, Dan? You know where I'm going with this. Okay, so Dan is in digital marketing, but for whatever reason, pop culture escapes him. Like worse than CJ.
Oh, wait a minute. You think? Because it's you.
Right. No. Listen, Brandi, worse than me. Because listen, Dan. Because they make fun of me for not knowing.
I'm listening.
They make fun of me for being, not aware of celebrity stuff. Yes, dumb as fuck. No, let me tell you, I got a few. Dan,
I didn't say like I didn't say like Wale was like Whale and
he was like, Billy, hey, do you listen to Whale? I was like, Wale? I can't listen.
Hey, don't hate the player, hate the game, right?
Oh my God. No. What was the other one? Oh, one of my favorites is the Baja Blast from Taco
Baja Blast? I know you fucking lying.
Baja. And the most
the thing is he's not. I can confirm. And here's why I'm not pop culture, right? Because like I don't give a fuck what pop culture is. I like what I like. You know, like you know what I'm saying?
My favorite one recently that made my teenage child.
Was it Billie Eilish?
Billie Eilish.
Oh God.
I thought Billie Eilish was a dude until I watched the award
What a fucking douchebag. What a douche. I'm a douche. I get it. Yeah. I get it.
Oh my God. First of all, he just needs to drink a lot and then just get on.
Listen, no, he doesn't.
Yes, he does.
Whatever he wants.
This is fucking hilarious.
What was the other one? Oh, like 2 Christmases ago. I think it was 2 Christmases ago. Dan was like, I stopped eating pork, and then he was, I guess, at some function.
And then I found out that pork, ham was like
ham is pork. He was like,
what the fuck did you think it was beef? I know you didn't think it was beef.
Wait, I was like, wait, I thought ham was ham. I thought ham was like ham.
Nigga, you thought so the animal is ham.
I used to say, look, no, hear me out. Brandi, hear me out. Ham is ham meat, right? And then turkey is turkey meat, right? So I was like, wait, ham is pig? I was like, how is that possible?
Did you think there was? Oh yeah, wait, Dan.
Ham is pig meat.
Dan,
I know.
Does that mean that you thought there was an animal called ham?
Hey, that's how focused I am on
Nigga,
how dedicated I am to digital, to where I don't know. I never knew that ham was pig meat.
Black.
Okay, but that means that you thought there was an animal named ham.
No, it does not mean that. I thought ham was like ham was like hot dog, right? Like I thought ham was
like a mixture of things.
See, boom, see, now you get my logic.
Because
I thought ham was hot
that's
dog.
not logical.
You know what I'm saying? Like ham.
I can't drink the Kool-Aid on that one.
3 letters, hot dog. Wait,
but it has a bone in it.
That's 6.
It has a bone. You think they put artificial bones?
I can't.
Oh my God.
I can't have another dumbass baby daddy. I can't.
Yeah.
No. Okay. So wait. Listen.
You need like Wolverine in the back.
Listen.
You need a sharp motherfucker. You know
Dan is like super smart. But sometimes he's not.
My God.
Like
I only care what. Like, let me put it this way. I only care about what I care about. And,
right.
And,
that's what I mean.
People.
He's like
but,
super
here's
smart.
My thing, no, I'm not smart. That's the thing. Like digital means a lot. But then I learned digital isn't just digital. It's like business, right? So the things that are irrelevant, no, it's relevant. Like I just never spent the time to understand the ham and pig. And there's a lot of people out there.
Oh, you savages! That's fucking swine.
That's actually the beginning. It's the beginning of a great TED Talk. Let me talk to y'all.
Dude, you guys, please. I have been telling Dan that he's going to do a TED Talk. He doesn't, I don't know if he believes me or not.
I got invited to do a TED Talk.
See? You need to go do one.
I did.
And I want to be in the audience, so fly me there.
Yeah. I got the New Balance deal, right? So I did the oil deal, right? You guys got oil, but I know Dee does. Like oil is like the second largest, but I got that. So we did a kickoff.
Company.
I got a New Balance deal that's happening within the next 2 weeks. But the guy that has a deal with New Balance asked me to do a TED Talk, and it's like black fraternities, right? Like like your alphas, your sigmas. You know what I'm saying? Like I know that because I went to I whether y'all know me or not, I was embedded into that black community. I love my black motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Like I love all that shit.
I told you he's just like me.
Right. But at the end of the day, I'm able to maneuver through different things. And I got the invite to do a TED Talk, and Microsoft is hosting it here in Frisco, Texas, which is part of DFW. But it was supposed to be second week of April. I declined it because I didn't want to talk in front of people.
Why?
No way. The story's not done.
Okay.
He's like, nope, I want you to do it. And then they got the deal with New Balance. So this client of mine that wants to be my client, they got the deal with New Balance because every black fraternity typically has a New Balance. You guys know, they're all about New Balance, right?
Right.
So they got the deal to sell New Balance on Kappas, Alphas,
right.
Fucking. You know what I'm saying? Like those different fraternities, and they want us to run the campaigns worldwide. So, and then they're pro-black. You know what I'm saying? I think half of us on here are black. Half of us.
We make a whole 3 people right now.
Yeah, we make three whole black people.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So you guys will be like, it's like, oh, Dan does work with black people. I do. It's not that I don't. It's just that I'm just being real. Most of my clients are white because
he said it.
like the pricing and whatever, right? But like
Dan, by the way, I have some black business shit that I want to talk to you about later.
You do?
Also,
I do.
Hey, because we still have news angle and I have work in the morning.
Yeah, so let's wrap it up, and so we can do our 15 minutes with Dan also. But seriously, y'all.
No, y'all don't have to. Like y'all.
No, I would love to. I want to.
Especially now that you're drinking like this. Hilarious.
We want to. We'll do it. We'll set a timer for 15 minutes and we'll do it. But seriously, you guys,
can we
you
do
guys
a 1 minute break though?
Huh? What?
Can we do like a 1-2 minute break?
Yep, because I need a refill.
Yeah, I need to go pee because I've been drinking. But if you guys have been listening thus far and you love what you're hearing, please make sure that you use your favorite platform for podcasts. Subscribe to it. If you're watching us on YouTube and enjoying all of our ridiculousness online,
can you give me a shout out too?
Yes, of course. Make sure you like and comment. I'm gonna put all of that down. It's Valynt Digital for Dan. It's VALYNT. Brandi hates it when you spell it differently.
Fucking
it runs in the family. You see the shit.
Brandi, I'm sorry. Okay? You know what Valynt means, Brandi?
Not you.
Courageous.
Yeah, I just said not you.
No, I'm courageous.
But no, for real, you guys.
Are you? If you have to say it, are you?
I am.
Oh, okay. Because I'm all about action. So
for real though, you guys.
I want you to come rescue me right now.
I feel like Brandon's trying to be valiant right now.
I can't. I don't know if I can handle all three of them at once. But if you guys are into having the Tiger twins and the Spottsville twins, let us know.
Please tell them to stop.
If you guys want the Tiger twins and Spottsville twins to happen again, let us know. We'll have two fucking. The thing is, Dan's he's a fucking he's an Aries.
Oh God!
Yeah, I know.
Jesus Christ! I'm out of here.
Brandi left and Dan's flicking us off. And I'm a Scorpio, so that explains a lot of things already. And then Dee's a Taurus and Brandi is a Libra. I can't, but I don't know what Brandi went. Hopefully she comes back in a minute.
No, I ain't coming back. Shit.
But I just want to wrap it up. I hope if you're listening to us, oh my God, I can't talk.
Brandi's not valiant.
I can't. You right? I'm not what you.
Hey, make sure you check out Dan's fucking company.
You scared.
Yeah, look, I'm smart. It's called being smart, nigga. Smart.
Yeah,
I can't. Okay.
Yeah,
listen, listeners and viewers, if you guys are listeing to
CJ, you better get your motherfucking brother.
I'm trying.
Brandi about to get that Wolverine claw on the fucking wall on her face. You know what I'm saying? You see that shit? She's about to get some calls.
This might have been the worst idea for the triangle thus
be so
far.
Extra aggressive.
Wait, Brandi, keep talking. Wait, who's that? Wait, purple guy in the ghost? Who's that?
It's Skeletor, nigga.
Skeletor.
Wow.
You don't know who Skeletor is?
Yeah, exactly.
You didn't know ham was pork. You gotta cut him too slow.
Okay. Nah, hey, my vision was bad.
Not his area of expertise.
Oh my God. Anyway, I'm trying to wrap this up, y'all. I know you guys are driving, listening to us, probably in quarantine right now, listening to us. And if you are and enjoy
I'm about to quarantine Brandi for life. You about to be quarantined for life.
Hey, listen, I don't want to see Brandi's ass at the fucking breakfast table at my mom's house. I do not want to see that.
Oh my God, like that scene D, like that scene in Baby Boy.
No, bitch. I don't want none of that. Anyway,
Brandi,
on that note, I couldn't even finish any of this shit. On that note,
you know what this is funny. After episodes of harassing your brother.
Brandi, I got number love for you. You know that, right? That's why.
I mean, I hear you, but I heard Aries as well, so I can't.
Yeah, well, it's both. Yeah, I'm ready to fight.
Oh my God. Okay. Let me get it together. Let me get it together. This is the end of this episode. Everybody who's been with us the whole time, much love to you for enduring this ridiculousness. Thank you so much. Stay blessed, stay safe, stay inside.
Stay blessed.
Dap to D.
Dap to D and all his facial expressions he made throughout the whole episode.
Man.
Make sure you check us out on Mondays at 9 a.m. for our news angle for our low brow current events, and every Thursday at noon on both episodes
and
are at
Brandy's on
Central Time.
quarantine for life.
Oh my God, Brandy is not quarantined for life. Jesus Christ. On that note, stay blessed. Be good. Yeah. We'll check you out fucking later. Okay? Okay, bye.
Hey, guys, she's quarantined.
Oh, my God.
She might not make it. She got COVID-19.
Where the fuck did she
might
go?
not make it. The love. Hey,
bye.
y'all give her the love. She got COVID-19.
We love you. Oh, my God.
She quarantined.
Bye.
14. Hey, Brandy's got 9 days left.
No! We're leaving. Bye, guys.